Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's write some more Leetcode today. Today we are solving product of the last k numbers. So in this problem, we mainly have three parts to implement. The first is the constructor, which it will initialize the object with an empty string, and the add function will add the integer num to the string, and then the get product function would return the product of the last k numbers in the current list. And we can just assume that the current list will always have at least k numbers. So if we look at this example, in the beginning we have the add function. It will add them all into a string. So even though we return null, it's adding objects to the empty string. And in the first get product call, which is it will be 2, we will return 20 because 5 times 4 is 20. In the next one, we want the last three numbers. So 4 times 5 times 2 is 40. So we return 40. When we ask for the last four numbers, it will be 0 times 2 times 5 times 4. So it will equal to 0. And then afterwards, we will add 8 to the string, and then finally we want the last two numbers as our product, so it would be 8 times 4, and that would be 32. So now that we have seen some examples, let's get to how we can solve the problem. A quick side note, we want our get product and add function to both work in all of one time, so we cannot just make an array and then multiply the last few elements in the array in our get product function, because that would be slower than all of one time. So to make it more efficient, in our constructor, we will have a list called products initialized with only one element with the number 1 in it, and the last index will be the last index of products that we currently have, which for right now the last index is 0. And each time we want to add an element to products, we will multiply whatever we are adding to the last index of products, and then we will increment last index by 1. The only exception is if we come across a 0, then we will reset products to just an array with an element of 1 inside, and then reset last index to 0. The reason for that is because anything multiplied by 0 will be 0, so we need to reset products to this. And when we get to the get product function, we will just divide the number on the last index by the number on the last index minus whatever the number that get product has in the parameters. And if the number in get product is greater than the last index, then we will just return 0, because that means the get product goes all the way to the beginning of the list where it has a 0 in between. So I think it will make more sense when I go through this example. So let's go through this example right now. So first, we will add 3, and then we will change this to 1. Come to the second add function. Since add is 0, we will reset this to how it started, and then reset this back to 0. Now we are at 2, so 2 times 1 is 2, so we add 2, increment this to 1. Now we come to 5. 5 times 2 is 10, so we append 10 and set this to 2. We come to add 4, so we multiply 4 by 10, which is 40, and then increment this to 3. So now we are in our get product functions. So then what we would do is we would divide 40 to whatever index it minuses to. So get product by 2, 40 divided by 2, which would be 20, so we will return 20. And if you look right here, 5 times 4 is equal to 20, so it is right. And now we get to 3, so 40 and 3. So we will do 40 divided by 1. 40 divided by 1 is 40, so we return 40. Now in this example, 4 is greater than 3, so we can just go ahead and return 0, because if you think about it, 5 times 4 times 2 times 0, it will be 0, so we can go ahead and return 0. Now we get to another add function, so we want to add 8, so 8 times 40, which would be 320, so we add 320, and then we increment this by 4. Now we have a get product of 2, so it would be 320 divided by 10, because we move over 2 index, so we will return 32. And that would be our result for the whole problem. And the time complexity of this problem would be O of 1, because neither the add function nor the get product function would depend on the length of anything. And the space complexity of this problem would be O of n, where n is the number of add calls, because that is how long our self.products array can be. So now let's get to the coding part. So first, we're going to set up our constructor. Self.products is equal to an array with 1 in it, and self.lastIndex is initially at 0. Now in our add function, if the number is 0, then we will reset our products and our last index. So we reset it to an array of 1 and reset last index to 0. Otherwise, we can append num multiplied by the element in the last index of products. So self.products.append self.products of self at the last index multiplied by num. And we also need to increment the last index, so self.lastIndex plus equals 1. And now in our get product function, if k is greater than the last index, then we can just return 0. Otherwise, we want to return the self.products at the last index divided by the self.products at the last index minus k. So we want to make sure it's an int also, so self.products of self.lastIndex divided by self.products at the self.lastIndex minus k. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, perfect. Hope this was helpful. Thank you all for watching. If you have any more comments or questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below, and I hope to see you all again soon.